Hello, hello, hello. It is Queen Jamila, and I wanted to come and discuss um, going into your spiritual path, your divine path that has already been laid out for you even before you came, even before you were born. And why your family doesn't support it. What is going on here? Why is it that you are on this beautiful spiritual path of, liberation and free thinking and, getting things that you want out of life and, just fulfilling your destiny? Why is it that your family can't support that? What is the problem? Okay. Hey, Valerie. Paths and incarnated angels and healers. There's many, many different paths of spirituality. Number one, um, I think that your family is okay with spirituality as long as you don't try to use your spiritual gifts to earn money and prosperity. So I think that's the first issue that they may have with it. So there's many, many different people that do a lot of different stuff. There's people that become massage therapists. Massage therapists are doing spiritual work. There are people that become acupuncturists, and everything that we do, even if it's considered to be mainstream, even if you are, not just saying, okay, I'm a witch, because when you just say I'm a witch, people get scared. So I did ask the spirits for guidance on this particular discussion today because there's so many of you out there that are literally being bombarded by energies coming from people that don't want to see you prosper. Okay, they don't want to see you do good things. So the number one thing that sticks out to me is the devil as well as religion. The devil and religion. And I got to be honest with y'all. From what I can see with these cards, like I was saying previously, there is a contract on your energy. And, so I examined it, and I've examined this several months ago, and then here we are re-examining it. Why, especially if you are a witch or a high priestess, why do they fight so hard? Why? It's going to depend on, it's going to be different for different people. But what I can see in general is that contract, because it came up twice, which is the Four of Coins. So that is a contract with an entity that needs your energy. In some families, it's worse than in others. But I think that for the most part, it has to do with fear of letting go, fear of letting go of you. Okay, prior to when you came into your spiritual self, you were in fact programmed. You were programmed psychologically, mentally, spiritually, you were programmed. And when you break that mold, everybody else in the family, or not everybody, but a bulk of the family, they are still in that contract. And they're too afraid to get out of it. This is how generational curses affect people generationally. Because instead of the people that are afraid, okay, instead of them breaking the contract, because that contract is hard. Y'all, I never forget the day I broke that damn contract. I thought I was going to die. It was so much anxiety around that contract. And when I did it, I knew I would survive it. It was one of the most difficult rituals that I've ever done in my life. So imagine what they could be going through at that moment where they are renewing or trying to renew the contract on you. This is why it is an applied effort. This is why it is an ongoing effort to break those strongholds that you have over you. They're scared. They're in fear. They're in bondage. And a lot of the times it would be nice to say, well, I'm going to be compassionate because I understand, but it can really, really be dangerous for your well being, for the well being of your family, of your children. Because when you start to have children, that is when you start your own family, your own generation. And that scares them as well. That scares a lot of people. So, this is the reason why they do everything in their power to discredit you, to, make you feel like you're not capable, especially if you're a woman. Especially if you're a woman. I have seen males and females literally need a focal point, and they will take advantage of the person that they think is the weakest. You know what I found out? The weakest, or whoever appears to be the weakest, is always the strongest, especially when it comes to taking your spiritual path in magic or in healing or whatever you're doing that involves spirituality. This is why seeing you be successful is so difficult for them, because they would rather stay where they're at and hope for the best instead of pulling forward or moving forward in their spiritual path, which doesn't always have to involve a spiritual business. Of course not. There's usually always one of every generation, to be honest with you. But when it comes to knowing yourself spiritually, that is so important. Some of y'all have mothers that want you to stay a baby forever. Some of them are holding on to their youth. Some people think that if you grow in spirit, that means that they're getting old. So psychologically, they have to look at you as a child. This is why your mother does everything in her power to destroy you. She's afraid of getting old. She's afraid of being questioned. She's afraid of religion. She's afraid. All of it is based on fear. All of it. And when people get scared, sometimes they can get very defensive. They can get very much so into attack mode. It's very, very hard to explain to these people. Look, if you were to go with the flow of the world, of nature, then you'll be okay. Now we're going into another year. You ever notice how your mother or your father or your older brother, any elder in your family, they start to act weird and off as they get older? This is because of programming. A lot of people associate getting old with death. That's the first thing they associate it with. They don't associate it with anything else except for getting sick and dying. So this is very scary for them. Now, keep in mind, some of you may have family that are just very, very unreasonable, that fear grows in them. And see, this is what's so scary about it. If we don't start to teach our children the correct information about themselves spiritually, then what will happen is that instead of the root growing, the root or the root will rot. It'll rot. And they will focus on the person that is the most successful. They will focus on the person that they think is doing more. Because number one, they are afraid of failure. So, in order for them to feel that they have not failed, you have to fail. You have to fail. So if so if they can prove on any level the impossibility of your success, and your success is going to be defined by you. Many different people have different levels of success that they have for themselves. With some people, it's ongoing. It's an ongoing growth process. With others, it's not. It just depends. Everybody's spiritual path is different. They cannot see their own spiritual path because it's been closed to them. Maybe it's punishment. Maybe it's a disconnect. So when you look at bloodlines and when you look at the people within a family and how sometimes everything can be going in reverse, this is when a family is going in the opposite direction. Now, I'm going to tell you one thing. Many times your family is cursed and they don't see it, because if they were not cursed, their behavior would not be where it's at. They would feel no need to come after you and attack you. Now, I'm not saying that this is happening to me personally, but I will tell you that I did have to remove a gen hex from me. It's gone. Generational hexes can represent seasonal fears, seasonal psychoses. So what'll happen is that you'll have everybody in a family fighting against each other instead of fighting for each other because everybody is scared. That demon is hard to face. That demon is so hard for them to face. You know how they say only the strong survive? That's the truth. You have to be a strong person to beat that demon. You can't be weak. Rainbow Raspity said that I believe families are cults. Some of them are. Some of them are. Also, another thing, if your elders struggled, they feel that you should. That's the definition of a generational hex. I went through all of these things and I want you to go through it too. This is why they'll even set up fake scenarios. They'll hire people. Okay, so this is what I want you to do. I want you to do da 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 da. I want you to do this because I want to make sure that the same exact pain and suffering and heartache that I went through, that they're going to go through it as well. And see, your spiritual path is taking you beyond where they have went, and they know it. So they're not stupid. They're not stupid at all. This is why they go and they hire practitioners. This is why they go to pastor and they talk to pastor about you instead of themselves, because they've already decided, they're already in it, they've already accepted it, they've already accepted this very narrow path that they're okay with. But what if you want more? What if you want more than what they had? They don't want you to do it. Anything freelance, artistry, music especially, they don't want you to do it. And the reason why is because they were not able to do it and they gave up. Or maybe God gave you gifts that they didn't give to them. You ever see those people that when they grow older, they're just like a child? That is because those people were able to allow those people to stunt their growth. Okay? So, what they will do is they will purposely do everything in their power to stunt your growth. The hard thing about it is that when you're with family, it is a very tight knit connection when you are connected by blood. And even if you move hundreds of miles away from them, you're still going to have to deal with the spiritual problem. It's best for you to move. I'm not saying for you not to, because I feel like a lot of you want to move away from your family and you want to explore, but they're saying, no, stay here with us. Stay where you're at. There's nothing out there for you. And this can make it extremely difficult on a person, especially if you're very codependent on your family. It can make it extremely difficult for a person to blossom and to prosper. I mean, and you know, I'm gonna tell y'all the truth about it. It is very demonic. So this is the reason why you'll see people that are limited by their families. And what do they want to do? They want to stop you because they're limited within the confines and the codependency of their family. And that's it for them. That's all they get. And they don't really have the balls to do more and to go beyond. Okay. And then also, if you were a late bloomer, a lot of them will say to you, um, well, just, why are you all of a sudden doing this? Why can't you just be my daughter? Or why can't you just be my friend? Or why can't you just be my niece? Or why? Well, you know why? Because people are their own person. You know that there's a lot of people, and they actually classify this as a mental illness. There's a lot of people that think that your existence is purely for their gain. You're not an individual person. They don't understand that they're supposed to look at you, gain insight, gain inspiration. No, you are somebody that are there only for their purpose. And this is a mistake. This is, in my opinion, a mental illness, which is, they say that it's narcissism, but, and yeah, that is what it is, but it's a lot of other things. Okay. In my opinion, it is a mental illness. It's something that people have a really, really hard time letting go of. For example, if your mama wanted you to be a doctor and you said, well, I don't want to be a doctor, I want to be a pharmacist. Or if your mama told you, I want you to be an attorney, and you said, no, I want to be a cannabis dealer. I want to open up my own cannabis shop. No, you can't do that. They don't want you to do that. So times are changing and things are changing, and we've got elders. Okay, not all of the elders, but there's a lot of elders that are very, very codependent on the children. This is the only way they identify themselves all of a sudden. When you're getting ready to step forward and get the things that you want in life, all of a sudden, you don't have your own identity. Your identity is based solely upon what they want identity to be. And your spirit is there. Your spirit feels trapped. It does. It feels trapped. It is a trap. This is the reason why you have to go to work. I don't think Beyonce would have gotten where she was going if she would have stayed on the path that her father wanted for her. She had to branch out and become a solo artist. Imagine being related to somebody that is that well off and you are trapped in a financial and psychological hell. Imagine how difficult that is for the human psyche of somebody, of some people, because it's not everybody. I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of people, in Beyonce's family that are very supportive. They make their own way. They make their own money. They make their own energy. They create their own reality. Money is reality. Money is energy. Money, reality, energy. So, whatever money you make, whatever it is that you do, this is going to pave the way for your actual reality. And you've got to take responsibility. You've got to say, you know what? I'm the chariot of my own future, nobody else. Remember when Whitney Houston said, I believe the children are our future? They are. But a lot of people are afraid of that. They are afraid of what is going to happen. And then, everybody always says that, especially if you've been suspected of witchcraft, all of a sudden you trying to sacrifice everybody. All of a sudden you trying to do people wrong. But the problem is that everybody has the will to live. Everybody. If you don't have the will to live, then you're going to lay down like a dog and you're going to take it. You're going to lay down and you're going to fall, you're going to roll over, you're going to go, well, I guess I might as well just try to fit in with these people because this is all I got, you know? Instead of you pressing forward, instead of you. So, what you have to do is you have to take that will to survive and you have to magnify it. You cannot continue to do that because what they will do, let me tell you something, your family is comfortable with you dying of hunger, sickness, and disease. They're comfortable with that. A lot of those people that you'll see crying at folks' funeral, them fake tears, y'all. Especially when you're dealing with a cursed family. Those are fake tears. Everybody wants what they want for themselves. They don't consider the other person. This is what makes a difference between a narcissist and an empath. Because an empath is going to say, well, you know what, dang, my family member, they doing this, they doing that, I'm proud of them. But see, they can't be proud of you even though you're doing things that they should be. They are always going to discredit you and say, oh, well, that's not good enough, and then they'll start thumping the Bible at you. They'll start, and you know what, sometimes you have to, especially when you're dealing with somebody that's trying to interfere with your spiritual path. Sometimes you have to thump the Bible at them. And it reminds them of what demons is affecting them. So, to be honest with you, the Bible was meant to hinder us, but it was also meant to help us. You know what I'm saying? Religion had to be created. It had to be. Because if it were not created within itself, then we would have no way of understanding what is going on with people, what is going on in the world, what is going on spiritually. But there is a such thing as moving beyond religion. Okay. God and Jesus never meant for us to know, nobody ever meant for us to stay trapped in a time capsule. That's where a lot of your family members are at. They're in a time warp. So the other day, guys, I was explaining to you that the reason why sometimes you have to use the Bible is because those entities that are affecting those people, that are affecting you, could or maybe they not affecting you, those entities come from another space in time. They're very outdated. However, they're very relevant. You see what I'm saying? And so, there are new ways of dealing with those biblical demons that, that puts all sorts of limitations on everybody. If you notice in the Bible, everything is blocked until you learn to unblock it. We're always traveling through time. All of us are having a past life transgression. Every last one of us. This is the reason why, if you're a person like me, you've got your own business, you've got, many clients that work with you, you're busy, you're doing things, but this is what ends up happening when you start to go backwards. When you're doing that and they have to go all the way back. So we know that religion is used, but we're all in some type of way suffering from religious past life transgressions. Then another scary thought is that everything is happening at once: the present, the past, the future, and everything in between. So even though we're not living back in those times, those things are still happening. Now, I think this may have something to do with quantum physics, okay? I think it does. If you think about what I'm saying, it's got something to do with quantum physics. Because when you think about it, even though we're not in the past is still happening. The past is still active. And there are energies from the past that want to affect your current as well as your future. So we're all experiencing it, which is why, you hear people still talking about religion. You hear people still kind of stuck. Everybody wants to bring up the past. Everybody wants to bring up, what may have happened when you were 4 years old. That's the past. Even if you have something very, very traumatic that happens in your past, they, meaning your family, will consistently remind you of it. And they use it as a tool to keep you back in the past. Those entities do. So, this is the reason why it's so important that if other people are not spiritually evolved, that you have to go no contact with them. Nobody said that you didn't love them, but love is not enough. Okay. You have to have love for yourself to say, hey, you know, you seem to be stuck back in a time capsule. And I'm sorry, I just don't want to argue with you about what happened when we were little kids. And I'm talking about family, because I actually have seen people in people's family to where they will literally be angry about something that happened when they were 8 years old, something so petty. And they will carry that forward with them forever. So they're holding on because they're still trying to work out the past. They're still trying to figure it out. Best thing you can do is connect with some people that are where you're at or beyond you. Now be careful dealing with people that want to degrade you for not being where they're at. Be careful with those people. Um, the reason why is because sometimes people that have gotten far, they didn't do it in the honest way. They didn't. They didn't, they knew they were wrong for what they did, but they did it anyway, is what I'm saying. So they knew it wasn't right. Okay. Commune with people that are like minded with you, even on YouTube. I only watch people that are where I'm at or beyond me. I don't watch people that are stuck in the past. I don't listen to people that are stuck in the past because they're in the past. All of that stuff is in the past. And if you can see that somebody is trying to connect you with that past, then you have to cut them off. You do. Unless you're living with them and depending on them, then that can be a problem. Okay. So many of y'all live with them and you guys are trying to take your spiritual path. You're just getting a lot of flack, a lot of unnecessary crap, a lot of unnecessary stress. Going forward, what we all should be doing, especially empaths. Hey, Melissa. Hey, Melvin and Valerie. Hello. What we need to do is start to stay focused on where we want to go and stick to like minded people. If people laugh at your spiritual beliefs, if people make a mockery of you, don't commune with them. If somebody is flip flopping, 1 minute, they're, singing your praises, and the next minute, you're a piece of crap and it's all your fault. Cut ties with people like that. This is going to be you can even relink up to those people later. You'll see the changes in them. You don't have to be up underneath those people now. Take the time, and it doesn't mean you have to go into hermit mode either. Take the time to keep your focus on where you want to go, and then you can deal with all of that later. Say your prayers and your blessings or your curses on people. Somebody owe you money, they deserve to be cursed. If somebody owes you money. So I'm sorry, because that's called stealing energy, or either trying to hold power over somebody. Okay? So be careful with people that owe you money with a refusal to pay it back, while at the same time telling you that you're broke, but they had to borrow the money from you. If I'm so broke, why'd you need to borrow the money from me? Why'd you need it? If I'm so broke, that was the whole point, so that they could take what you had so that you'd have less. Keep your money in your pocket. Only time you should be investing in someone else is if it has a direct effect on you. Or the only time you should be giving up your money is if you paying for spiritual work and protection at this point. Winter that we're going into, it's going to be rough. Last winter, that negative entity began to attack daily. It's not resting. It attacks every single day. In fact, there's a lot of empaths that haven't really gotten a lot of rest, even especially the past couple of weeks. Okay? So make sure that you got your spiritual dots connected and your T's crossed for yourself and your family. Because right now, most of the people that are up in your face, they probably wanting something if they're not at your level. So just be careful with that. Be careful with the people and the energies that you allow within your personal space. Okay? Be careful with that, because there are a lot of people that, because they are not where they want to be, they're not even close to being where they want to be or need to be or desire to be. And especially if they blaming you for some kind of downfall, well, you know what? If those people would have built a stronger house instead of a house of cards that blows away in an instant, would they need to do that? So it's very important for you to not give any energy. Today, that was my, because I actually did a cleanse on myself today. And I needed that cleanse because I had been doing some dark work for people. And sometimes when you do dark work, that dark energy can sometimes touch you. So I needed to have a cleanse, because whatever you make a reality is what the reality is going to be. Whatever energy they throwing at you, just make sure that you got yourself cleared. Cut that cord to them. You don't have to keep doing the cord cutting every day. If you do a cord cutting and you kind of slide backwards, then it just hasn't taken place yet. Okay, a lot of people don't understand that things take time to manifest. We are coming up on a new moon in Virgo on the 30th, while in Virgo season. So the reason why this is going to be so important, and just to let y'all know, there's a lot of people that are going to be walking away from people. There's a lot of people that are going to say, hey, I want to get in your personal space. This is not the time for that. The time is going to come definitely when we get past this new moon. So for some of you, it's going to be October, November, December. A lot of y'all want love. Everybody wants love. Nobody just wants to sit around and be alone for the rest of their life. Who wants that? Nobody said that you had to do that, but just be patient. Be patient, and those things are going to come. Right now, what the focus has to be on is freeing yourself from that energy, literally, to where you can wake up every single day and it doesn't exist, or either it doesn't exist or it doesn't bother you. You don't care because you're staying focused. Now, I've been meditating all day, and if you have to do that, then do it. They've got meditation frequencies that you can listen to all day, and they've got them hours. They have 24-hour meditation frequencies that you can listen to. One of them is the Native American flute, is really, really good. I usually keep that going in my house overnight. And so do that, because we are getting hit up with all kinds of frequencies right now. So if you want more in your life and you want the things that you want, start using the tools that you were given. Because I've been focused all day long. And it was once I did that cleanse. When I did that cleanse, it was over. And see, those negative people, they don't want it to be over. They don't. They don't want it to be over. They want to keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going. You can see that entity is going to destroy them. You can see that it's going to tear them down, mind, body, and spirit. You cannot listen. It's just like the zombie apocalypse. In the old was that old zombie movie? You remember when it was people's family members that it turned into zombies, and they had to basically take their top off? It's the same thing. Because if you don't, then they're going to eat you. You can't necessarily be concerned about them. You can't necessarily care. You got to stop caring about people that don't care about themselves, even if it's family. Even if it's family. Now, if it's your child, that's different. It's different if it's your child. But even sometimes with that, again, if your child is beyond 20, 30, or 40, and they're not on a destructive path, you need to just, deal with yourself, get yourself path. You need to just, deal with yourself, get yourself together, get your love life in order, get your money together, get your, your spiritual, your aura together, get all of that together. Because all of us need money to survive, all of us. That's just the way that it's set up. Okay, everybody does. Everybody. We all got rent that's due in a couple of days or either a mortgage. Okay, so take that advice and you'll start to see things come through for you. Now, if you're dealing with spiritual practitioners in your family, unfortunately, you're going to have to just do work. You just gonna have to do work, especially if it's family, because family can do you worse than anybody. So make sure that you guys do your reversals, your cleanses. If you guys have no idea how to do that, then you guys know where to reach me. Also, another thing, a lot of you that are having problems at your job, coincidentally, you're also having problems with with your family. So both of them go hand in hand. Both of them. There's something going on there. Whether or not they're blood or not, what is the problem? What is the issue? So some of y'all are, dealing with energies to where you feel like you're getting ready to lose your job. And, everybody messing with you. You feel like everybody's stealing from you. You feel like everybody feeding off of you. That's because they are. So protecting your energy is so important. Okay. If you guys need to reach me, the link to my website is below. I will be doing cleanses. It's all about the cleanses and the road openers for this new moon. This is what Spirit wants us to work on. So I can already see quite a few people coming to me for cleanses, coming to me for road openers, coming to me for, reversals, hex breakers, things of that nature. Breaking a hex is a contract. Okay, it's a contract that somebody will take out. It's basically what it is. So you have to remove the contract. Okay. And I believe that sometimes people have to be in touch with either the Akashic records or some very, very powerful spirit guides because everybody can't break a hex. There's people that can put hexes, but they can't break them. Okay. So it's very important for you guys to, understand what it is that you're looking at and what you're dealing with these days. Okay. And I feel like anybody that is showcasing that oppressive energy towards anybody can't be trusted. If you're doing look, if you do this to this person, you're doing it to me. In fact, while you're doing it to this person and while you're in my face, laughing in my face and smiling up in my face like you, my friend, you're doing it to me and other people around you. So pay attention to how other people treat other people. Pay attention to how those people treat people. You have to, because what they are doing to others, they will do to you, especially if that person is limited. You got to be able to go beyond those people. I don't have room for nobody petty in my life. I don't have room for nobody that's backbiting and backpedaling. I don't have no room in my life for anybody like that, and you shouldn't either. Okay? So I will see you guys later. Love and light, peace and blessings. Take your spiritual baths today. Put up your protection. Protect your third eye. Protect your crown. All right. If you guys want to know more about that, I do also offer tarot card classes as well as witchcraft courses. Okay. So I do offer those, and you guys can contact me at the website for that. Okay. All right, guys. I will see you later. Love and light. I hope that this helped you guys. If it did, hit that thumbs up to send me some positive energy. And I will see y'all later. Okay. Love and light.